Okay, so quick meet recap from the USPA drug tested Texas State Showdown or Texas State Champion, whatever the meet was called. It was in Arlington, Texas at the convention center. This was actually the first powerlifting meet that myself as a coach, I handled more than just one lifter, which usually I'm used to just handling either my workout partner Caleb or my wife Adelina. This is the first meet as a coach that I handled 3 lifters, all of which I had some part, if not the majority of the part of doing their programming and doing their coaching. So we had Adelina, my wife, Maddie, who is Adelina's client, who I also helped program and handled her, and Terry, a friend of ours, a new training partner of Caleb and Caleb helped me out with him as well. So 3 total lifters there at the meet, who all, first and foremost, they all did fantastic jobs. All 3 of them PR'd. They all 3 had their own set of adversities that they had to overcome from this whole prep, but they all did amazing. They all took first in class. So big shout out to them. It was a really good, really fun meet, good experience, and big thank you to Caleb, of course, for helping me handle all 3 of those, because I could have got it done, but it's handling somebody other than me, if you've never done it before, it could be overwhelming at times. This meet in particular was very well organized, so probably could have managed it by myself, but always happy to have help there. So that was great to have. They all did great. They all PR'd. I'm going to do a meet recap specifically on Adelina's meet, because I think that there's a very cool story there, and I'm particularly proud of how that went. She hit some awesome PRs, and I'll just go ahead and get started talking about that. She was, step back to last November, it was her first classic raw meet, meaning knees wrapped. She took all the state records in her weight and equipment class in drug tested USPA. So she's drug tested USPA 82.5 kg classic raw. Last November, she squatted 340, which was a state record. She bench pressed 170, which was a state record, and she deadlifted 380. All 3 state records in all 3 events, and the state record for total, of course. Not long ago, before this past meet, which is it was May 6th, so six months since her previous meet, somebody took the squat state record. They raised that up to 385 in the class. She also took the bench press state record. This female lifter took it up to 192 pounds. Was not able to take Adelina's deadlift record. Adelina is a deadlifter. That's her event. But she was able to take the total record, of course, with the squat and the bench that she increased. So going into this meet, Adelina was very motivated to take back the total record. We knew the 385 squat was a bit out of reach. Initially, we thought the 192 bench press was also going to be out of reach. But our game plan was, she had a big goal of deadlifting 400 pounds. So we wanted to raise that deadlift record, and we were hoping that somehow we could make up some ground in order to take the total record back as well. This was probably, so I've coached Adelina on 6 competitions. This is her 4th powerlifting meet, and I finally feel like we got it dialed in and we got it figured out to just, we know exactly what to do leading into the meet. We know how to train her, and we know how to produce the best her on the platform, is the best way I could say it. we got her peaks down perfectly. This past program for squat was the best it's ever been. And what I mean by that is as far as weight selection on each training day, when to press the gas, when to back off. Didn't fail a single rep in training, which was not the case for her first meet in wraps past November. It was a very frustrating, even though we got good results, it was a very frustrating prep. A lot of failed squats, a lot of thinking something was going to be there that wasn't. Just to give some perspective, she took 340 in training leading into that meet. I think 3, maybe 4 separate times and failed it every time before getting a third attempt 340 on the platform. So all that to say, squats went perfect for this meet, and she opened with 340.
Let's go, Lena. Come on.
Woo! Absolutely smoked it. Like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. And whenever I saw that 340, I thought, we can squat way more today than what I thought she was going to be able to do. But we had a strategy going in. The number that we wanted and that we thought we could do and still be able to take the total record back and still leave some in the tank for deadlift. The number that we thought she could do and that she hadn't hit in training yet, but we thought it would be there on the meet, and we were right, was 352. So we kind of put an artificial cap at 352. So when you see how that moves, I'll be able to explain why. So she opened at 340, smoked it. Comes out, no, that's wrong. She opened at 330, smoked that. We put 340 on the bar for the second attempt. Here's how. Okay, so obviously she smoked 340 as well. One white from the head, 2 red lights from the side judges. I immediately looked over at them. They looked at me. They're just like a little bit off depth. And my best explanation for that, because Adelina always hits depth. She always hits depth in training. She always hits depth on the platform. But this being her second meet, wrapping her knees, she finally has those knee wraps, and she self-wraps. She finally has those knee wraps dialed in, man. Like, I've been wrapping for a couple years now, and she's only been wrapping for a couple meets. I'm pretty sure she's better at wrapping her knees than I am now, because she cannot even bend her knee a smidge without weight on her back with those wraps on. So I actually need her to teach me how to wrap the way she's wrapping. All that to say, I think that was the issue with depth. I just think that she's so good at wrapping her knees at this point that there's a little bit more thought about how are we going to get down to depth. It used to be automatic. Now it's something that's like, okay, we got to push past these knee wraps to hit that below parallel. So obviously she wasn't pumped about not getting her second attempt on the board. The way it moved, and it was just a hair off, I felt 100% confident going ahead and going up on the third attempt. She was already on the board with her opener. And again, we had a goal in mind. If she wasn't going to squat 352, she wasn't going to get anywhere close to what we wanted her to get for the day. So just put 352 on the bar, and let's just make sure we get all the way down there. That was the conversation in the back. It was, don't get in your head about it. You got it. For sure, the strength is there. Just make sure you sink it. And so, of course, we put 352 on the bar for the third attempt, and here's how it went. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so 3 white lights. She's on the board with 352 in the squat. We're exactly where we want to be leading into bench. So I want to talk about bench and how the program, or how the prep went for her on bench. Keep in mind, she started this bench press preparation for this meet with her best being 170. Initially, like week 1, week 2, even week 3, I didn't think there was a chance that we should even be thinking about getting that state record that was set at 192, about taking that back. I bumped her frequency up on bench to 3 and then eventually 4. While we were bumping her frequency up on bench, we also moved her out. She was benching pinky inside the ring, sometimes a full 2 finger width inside the ring, or 1 finger width, depending on how her shoulders were feeling. And we made some adjustments basically just to commit to continue to widen that grip out. She's had shoulder issues in the past with wider grips, but I think we were able to overcome that. So I believe we ended up getting from pinkies just inside the ring to ring fingers on top of the ring. So not a drastic change, but enough to make some good improvement. Again, as well as the programming up in the frequency. And so it blew up. It absolutely blew up. She went from 170 being her best bench to actually by the end of prep, she hit 192 in the gym with commands. Now, if you're a power lifter or you know anything about benching at a meet, you know that there's a good chance that you're not going to PR on the platform. And the reason that is, whether you have some weight cut manipulation, right? So you had to cut weight to make it into your class, or your bench press doesn't peak the same, or the circumstances at the meet just aren't what you're accustomed to. You're accustomed to the rug at your gym. You're accustomed to the gym, the rack. Me giving commands, which I can admit now that maybe I was being a little too kind on the press command. Lately, it seems like the last couple USPA meets we've done, and there's always IPL referees at those meets also. The last 2 USPA meets we've done, it seems like they're getting more strict on the pauses. I've been at meets where they give a quick press command, but the last 2, it does seem like we're holding for a bit longer. So I don't know if that's something that they're intentionally changing, or we've just got unlucky the past couple meets, but we know going forward we have to be training extra long pauses. So like I said, she hit 192 in training her last day benching, and we thought, well, if we could put 193 on the bar and take that state record, not only is that going to help us take the total record back, but we can get you the bench press record back too. So that was the game plan going in. We opened up with 176, which was already a meet PR. So opening with a meet PR is already a great day. Here's how that went.
Nice.
Okay, so she got it. It was slower than we would have liked it to be, but we talked about it, and she felt, and I agreed, that it had more to do with her not being able to get traction. So we were bench pressing on rubber stall mats. Usually they do a rug. This time, for whatever reason, it was just rubber horse stall mats, and she felt like she couldn't get good leg drive on that opening attempt. And so what we did was we wiped the bottom of her lifters or her flats. We wiped the bottom of those. And then I went out to the judge before she took her second attempt. And I said, could you please sweep, just sweep off the floor? And they were happy to do it, thank goodness. And so they swept it off. She goes out there for her second attempt. I called for 181, so just a 2.5 kilo jump. And here's how that went.
Nice. Good job.
So she moved that one. I think 181 moved better than 176. In order to not leave any kilos off, we went ahead and decided that if we were going to go for the state record, we'll do that on a 4th attempt. You can do that if you're going for a state record, a 4th attempt. Let's go ahead and make the next 2.5 kilo jump from 181 to 187, something like that, 186, whatever it is. And as long as you make that, we'll go out for the state record for a 4th attempt. So here's how the third attempt went, 186.
Come on. Good try.
So disappointingly so, she did not hit 186. And again, it's not that she hasn't hit 186 before. We had every reason to believe that that was a possibility. Sometimes the meet circumstances just don't allow for you to do your best bench press, and that's okay. We still ended up with a 11-pound PR on bench press. So we raised it from 170 to 181, which in 6 months, I think that's really good progress for her bench press. I'm super proud of her for it. We just knew bench press had to go perfect for us to get the total that we wanted to increase that record. So we thought, okay, let's focus on the number one goal that we had in mind was a 400-pound deadlift. She's been chasing that for a couple years now. To get that in competition would be sweet. She had pulled it in the gym once. So forget about bench. Let's just move on to deadlift. Let yourself rest for a little bit, and then we'll get you nice and charged up and ready to deadlift. So deadlift prep. Like I said, she hit 400 pounds in the gym. I think it was like 5 weeks out, 4 or 5 weeks out. And we knew that was the goal. And I said, you know what? From ever since she hit that, I said, let's be super conservative on deadlifts for the rest of prep. I don't want you failing any reps. I don't want you grinding any, 9s or 10s out in the gym. You already have the number that you want in the tank. We've seen you do it. You could do it on the platform. Your deadlift peak's awesome. Let's just take it easy on that. And that's what we did. She didn't fail any deadlift reps. I think she ended up PRing a double at 374 on her last deadlift day. Prep went awesome. Prep went awesome with the deadlift. We knew she was going to be able to get this 402 as long as we didn't burn out on squats, which is why we did the 352 instead of sending it up to 358, or even, I think she might have even had 363 in the tank, honestly. So warm-ups for deadlifts went awesome. Super routine. There was a little bit of a longer break between her last warm-up in the warm-up room and the opening attempt that we had for her, 380. One of the spotters had to go to the restroom, and so we usually try to time it out to where she has 10 to 12 minutes from her last single in the warm-up room to her first single on the platform. And it ended up being more like 12, or rather 15 to, 18 minutes. So that was just a little hiccup. It didn't end up mattering. She went out there. She absolutely smoked 380. So here's that.
Make it move! Squeeze tight! Pull it in!
That was
3 white lights, nice and smooth. I saw that and I thought, okay, for sure she's going to be able to pull 400. But in my head, I'm also thinking about if she could have pulled 418, we could have took the total record. So that was our last chance at taking the total back. And we wanted to secure 400. So the plan was to put 400 on the bar on the third attempt. And if she absolutely just could jump with it, then we'll load up a fourth attempt and we'll try to pull for that total record. Anyway, second attempt, 391. Put that on the bar, takes that. Here's how that went.
Come on. Gas, 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 gas!
Okay, same. 390 looked maybe better than 380, if not exactly the same. It was at that moment that her and I both knew that she was going to pull 400 pounds. So she's getting hyped in the back. She's got her music on, and I know what I'm about to see. So I'm already really excited for it. And we load 400 on the bar, and here is probably, so far, since she's been powerlifting, her most special moment. So let's show that video.
Get aggressive.
Push your feet, push your feet, push your feet! All the way! Yes, ma'am!
Okay, so awesome day. Ends with a 352 squat, a 181 bench, and a 402 deadlift. This is a 44 pound PR from her meet just 6 months ago, last November. We decided the way 402 moved that it would have been silly to go out and try to pull 418. Didn't feel like it was there. She wasn't interested in even trying it, and I don't blame her. It's a long day, PRs across the board. So we are going to Worlds in November, this coming up November. It's going to be in Coventry, England, IPL drug tested Worlds. And that will be her next opportunity to try to go ahead and take those records back. I think she has a really good chance at doing it. We'll see what the squat does. I wouldn't be totally shocked if she was able to squat the state record over 385. I would be shocked if she didn't do the bench. I'm pretty sure she's just right on the edge of benching 200 pounds, so that's going to be coming soon. And of course, she owns the deadlift, and we're just going to keep driving that thing up. I really do think she has the potential to pull 500 pounds in this weight class eventually. I'm going to be sharing more of my own training. Hopefully next video, I'll have a 24-week program kind of overview, because we're 24 weeks out, and I am planned all the way from 24 weeks out up to Worlds in not November, it's in October. So stick around for that. If you like the video, like it, comment, and I will be sharing more.